Hi, everyone. Welcome to Profiles in Ink. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of NotaryCoach.com, author of the Amazon bestselling book Sign and Thrive: How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary and Loan Signing Agent, and now host of the Side Hustle Lounge podcast. I'm excited to introduce you to my friend and colleague, fellow multipreneur, has a lot of irons in the fire as well. John Holder. John, thank you so much for joining me here for this.
Thank you, Bill. It's always a pleasure to join you, whatever platform we're on. I always enjoy our conversations, and it's neat to share my story with you. Thank you for the opportunity. Very much appreciate it.
Yeah, I can listen to your voice all day, John. You've got a voice for this. I love your accent. I love your story and just your authentic approach to everything that you do. And here, when I talk on Profiles in Ink, we typically go with the origin story, like how you got started as a mobile notary and loan signing agent. And I know we were just recently on a podcast, so we got to talk about that a little
Right.
bit. Today's conversation, for those who are just joining us, we're going to talk about John's incredible sense of uh, adventure, I guess it would be too, because you recognize opportunity and you seize that opportunity by taking massive action in several different ways. So that's what we're going to talk about. But first, John, let's give people an idea of who you are. First, you're obviously from the sign in the back. You live in Kentucky, and what'd you do before you were a notary?
Before I was a notary, I grew up here in Vanceburg, Kentucky, the youngest of six children. My dad was an attorney. My mom was a teacher and kind of a stay-at-home mom. Small community here in northeastern Kentucky, Vanceburg, Lewis County. I was big into sports growing up. Loved baseball, basketball, football, ran track, whatever. Just stayed busy every day after school doing something, and reached the age of 18 and had a choice of a couple different colleges. I decided to go for me. It was pretty far away from school or from home. It was 5 hours away to a college in Owensboro, Kentucky. And then from there graduated in 4 years and then went to University of Louisville Law School. I was a third generation graduate of University of Louisville's Law School. So, as a young child, I don't know. I just kind of always had my eye on my dad and the way he conducted himself and the authority figure that he was in the community. He was kind of a pillar of our community, involved in politics, involved in his church, involved in civic organizations. He's a member of the Kentucky Lions Hall of Fame. So I just hold him in very high esteem. And, it's something that I found out later in life. As I grew up to be an attorney, I wanted to be more like, I didn't necessarily want to be an attorney. I just wanted to be more like my dad. That
Oh,
was kind of a later life in life realization. And then that's what led me to my mobile notary journey.
so
Dad just
how does that
told me,
transition happen?
well, Dad told me to get my notary commission in 1993, I believe it was. As soon as I got out of law school and started practicing with him, he said, "You're going to need it. It's like we'll use it for deeds and mortgages or whatever around the office." So I didn't have, that was just a notary commission at the time to me. And then later on, we practiced a lot of real estate law together. Had a transition there later in the career as Dad's career tailed down. Um, he had a debilitating stroke and kind of ended our practice together. So that's when I fell into a little bit of a tailspin in my personal life, and the notary stamp kind of pulled me out of it. It's a crazy story, but I heard a podcast. I thought I can do loan signings. It's really not that hard. Um, just helped me as a little bit of a side hustle. And then once I connected with you and your course and kind of took your teachings to heart, that's when things kind of started to take off for me. So
I love that. And you obviously, I think your background probably served you really well here. You probably ran very efficiently in your business, built that business up, but you also recognized a need in Kentucky because, I mean, before 3 or 4 years ago, the notary community or the loan signing community was pretty dispersed under the radar, and it was difficult to find people who shared information. They kept that pretty close to themselves.
mhm.
So now I think we have an amazing community, but you in particular in Kentucky saw an opportunity. And can you talk a little bit about the network that you built?
Yeah, it always irked me, Bill, that I would get these calls and just because I was a Kentucky notary, they think I'd cover something 3 hours, 4 hours away or something, and I'm like, no, but boy, if I wish I had somebody I could refer this to. It started out as just a need for referrals. Wanted to reach out to fellow notaries in the state and share, the jobs that I couldn't cover, and in hopes that they would reciprocate and some would come back to us. We would just kind of, it wasn't a set up as like a signing service or anything official like that. It was more just kind of a loose network. I wanted us all to market our services together. Like my friends in Louisville could go to their title companies, get some people in Lexington, Northern Kentucky. I'm in rural northeastern Kentucky, where there might be one or two title companies in within 30 counties. So it's just a really unique situation here in our state. It's a little different setup than California, Texas, Florida, where you can go down the street and run into five title companies on the same block. But so in Kentucky, I wanted to kind of organize this as I wanted somebody in every county. I didn't want 100. We have 120 counties. I didn't want 120 notaries. I just wanted
Wow.
us each to kind of have our own little territory. If somebody's comfortable with going 2 or 3 counties over, then that's what I initially set up. And in theory, the concept is great. The virus kind of gave us a little bit of a curveball, like it did everybody. Um, Nobody went to title companies to market, kind of stopped
Right.
knocking on doors and that type of thing. So what's happened with what the good things that have come out of Kentucky Notary Network for me is one, I registered the domain. The KentuckyNotary.net, couldn't get KentuckyNotary.com. And so I said, well, that's okay. The .net can stand for network. I just
Yeah,
felt like it
right.
fit in there
Thinking.
perfectly. It just rolled right along, and I started blogging at KentuckyNotary.net and just putting out my thoughts on mobile notary, the side gig, what it involves, loan signings, what all we do. Um, re- Blogged about remote online notary coming along and some things like that. And what that's done surprisingly to me is, I mean, I kind of think I knew what I was doing, but with just putting out a little bit of content in there, you'll rank on Google. Setting up a Google My Business page and posting on it regularly, and trying to solicit some reviews there. So that all kind of swirls together and has got us ranked on page one for some pretty neat keywords as far as if somebody's looking for just Kentucky notary or Kentucky remote online notary. So our phone rings because of that. The network needs, we need to go back in and kind of fire everybody up and get everybody on the same page a little bit and go to bat for each other a little bit more. I think we'll get there. Everything's kind of getting a little bit back to normal, and hoping I can, you know, get my pod fade over and get back into my podcast. I've got an episode in the can there with Jim Allen I want to release and get some things back on that domain. And it's just really helped me get noticed. I'm not just John Holder. People see me as Kentucky Notary. I mean, it's kind of neat. They associate me with the whole state now. So,
Right.
so
Well, that
it's
that,
kind of
that
neat.
was I think that was really good thinking, and on a couple of different levels. I think notaries around the country crave a state specific resource or community to be a part in, because in our business every state is so different.
Yes,
So I
sir.
think you've really stepped in and filled a need there. And can you share, um, because I know there's other people out trying to create the same thing, or it's in their head, I think somebody should do this, and maybe that person's them. So on a practical side, how did you set up the community? You specifically said the phone. Do you just have one central phone number that rings, and does that ring through to other people? How does it
Yeah.
work?
Well, initially, I had this great idea. I divided the state into four corners, and if you needed this, you're gonna, dial this number. Had an extension for everybody. Had it all set up. My partners on the other end, I'm not sure they were answering the phone all the time. So,
Sure.
like, it just didn't. The system didn't come through like I wanted it to. What I told my partners from the very beginning, anybody that got into the network, I didn't charge them anything. There wasn't any. I think I said $25 just to cover the cost of my website and the phone number. But I told them, I'm gonna that's my property, the website and the phone number. I pay the bills on those, so I kind of retained ownership of that. And I'm thinking of Kentucky Notary Network. It might take a different form in the future. But the first thing I did, Brenda Stone's article on notary.net, setting up a statewide network, it just hit me like a lightning bolt. And I pretty much went through it step by step, Bill. Now, the one really neat thing that's come out of that is we have a Kentucky mobile notary and loan signing agent Facebook group, just our own little Kentucky only. There's a couple of people I've let in from out of state, but those national Facebook notary groups, man, they can get challenging sometimes, to say the least, to get a straight answer, to get some good advice, to not get your head bit off for asking a question that somebody maybe they should know the answer to or whatever. But ours is very relaxed, very helpful. Uh, some of the other veteran notaries help me out and not necessarily moderate, but they'll chime in and help me answer questions. And that's been really neat to foster that community. We're over 150 members now, and I've one other smart thing I did there, Bill, is I started to collect emails along with that when they join our Facebook group. That's one of the questions I ask is, what is your email address? So to build your email list is, one of the most important assets that you can have as
Yes.
well in getting in touch with everybody. So that's, it started with a website, WordPress, and some plugins that help me do the membership part of it. It's evolving, and I don't know where it's going to end up. It's going to be neat to see. It's just, but it's an awful lot of good people, and I've enjoyed reaching out and connecting with them. I've referred some loan signings to them. They've called me. It works in theory, just not like um, on a large scale basis that I'd
Sure. And
like
I
to see
think
it. So
I think that's the cool thing about this in any business, is that it often evolves and grows, and sometimes takes a life of its own or goes in the direction that you just never expected it.
right,
I want to go back again just a little bit, because you mentioned consistently blogging and adding that content out, and I want to speak. I wonder if you can speak directly to um, some of the fear that comes with blogging, basically stepping into an expert role. And this probably showed up for you and a couple of the things we're going to talk about. But I hear all the time people don't know what they want to write about, or they do know what they want to write about, and they're just terrified that people are going to shred them, judge them, or they're going to be wrong about something. How did you get over that?
It's hard to push publish sometimes. It is a very hard button to click on. And I wholeheartedly respect anybody who deals with that. And then the other part that I have challenges with is being a perfectionist. Is just, oh, is there a misspelled word? Is there a typographical error?
Mm.
Oh, those kill me, Bill. So I had some great English teachers. I was blessed with throughout high school, and English was my minor in college. I had wonderful professors at Kentucky Wesleyan, and so I know a little bit about writing. I'm not gonna, toot my own horn too much, but I know uh, good writing when I read it, or I feel like I know if I put a blog post out whether it's going to be well received or not. But yeah, walking out on that ledge, it's not easy. And then it's also hard to battle with the consistency part of it too. I try to at least once a week, once every 2 weeks. But it's not easy because you've got to set your calendar up, and then you got to spit it out on paper. Then you've got to edit it.
Well, in
There's
our
just so many
business,
moving parts.
yeah, in our business, your schedule changes on a minute by minute basis sometimes, so it can be really
Exactly.
difficult. So
You
how'd you overcome it? Do you have a as far as your daily structure goes, do you have a habit routine where you can focus on things that's working on your business versus in your business, or how did you make it happen?
I wish I did. I wish I'd tell you that I do these 5 things every day, and I should. But what the best thing for me on WordPress is to put the draft inside the website, work in WordPress itself, not like put it on a Google Sheets or Google Docs or Word or whatever. I need to get my draft inside WordPress, and then it seems like once I get it there, um, you know, there's graphics, there's a featured image, there's hyperlinks, there's all these little things. When you're chief cook and bottle washer, that's there's only one guy that's going to get all that stuff done. And like I said, I want it to look a certain way. I have a certain level of brand aware. I just want it to look good. I want it to look right. I want it to read well. So I battle that, but to me, it's just getting it out on paper, getting that first draft out, maybe setting it aside, coming back the next day, hacking out what looks bad, sounds bad, and smoothing it out a little bit, and then trying to go back and put the technical part of it, the images, the hyperlinks, and whatever. After that, I'll probably even let it set one more day, and then go back, read it one more time out loud. It just sounds different if you read it out loud, and then push publish. Try to go from there. And it's neat. My last one was on. It helps to be a dog person in this business. I think oh my goodness, the pets that we see,
Yeah.
and so to take a topic like that, and then now that I go to the signing table and I'm talking to the people about their pets, I can say, well, my last blog post was just about it helps to be a dog person. So I kind of give them my card and tell them about our blog and that kind of thing, and people enjoy that. It's just connecting with people, and had one about working with elderly couples and stopping and smelling the roses and that kind of thing. So that's the part I enjoy about blogging is it allows me to be a little creative, get my English teacher out in me
Yeah.
a little bit, and exercise my writing chops, hopefully.
Well, and I think that's so important to blend your passions into your business any way that you can. And that's a cool thing about the notary business and why I love it so much. I'm such a multi potentialite.
Yes,
I
sir.
love to have different irons in, and this business allows me to do all kinds of cool stuff
Right.
all under this notary umbrella so it stays somewhat
Yes,
focused.
sir.
And I think you're kind of discovering that as well and really putting that to use. But I also wanted to share, I love that you're blogging because I spent a lot of money on a workshop once. And the key takeaway there is if you want to double your audience, which means your audience could be notaries, it could be customers, it could be escrow officers, attorneys, whoever your ideal customer is. If you
Right.
want to double that number and double your income, consistently blog or add content, deliver content on a consistent basis, and spread the word using social media and email. And it works. I've been able to
Yes,
do
sir.
that in my own business. I know you've been experiencing that as well. And I love that you've mentioned capture the email addresses,
Yes,
because I
sir.
think the trap that so many people fall in is they think that followers on social media equals really great stuff. And while it can, the social media platforms own those followers, not you. So it's important to convert those into your own customers, and email is king when it comes to that. Don't let anybody ever tell you differently. You
Exactly.
gotta have email.
Now
That's
to
how
get to
you
the
build
email
relationships.
sequence. Now to
Yes.
build the sequence. So
Yeah, and then
that's
there's
next.
all the rest of that too, and that's a perfect segue because this is content marketing, that kind of like what we're talking about here. But again, you've filled this need or this desire in Kentucky for other notaries to work together and to help each other out. And then we're in this age where remote online notarization is coming in, and it has just been a complete cluster in the very beginning, right? There's nobody there for training. Every state's different, every platform's different. Nobody really kind of knows what to do. In Virginia, they've been doing a little longer than everybody else, but still there's the rest of us out
Right.
here that wasn't really clear on how to do it. And you had a vision for your own online course to do this. So let's talk about that a little bit. Why'd you start Ron
Yeah.
University?
Yeah. I just love that domain. Didn't that sound good? It's like
I'm so jealous of that.
it is a really good domain.
It is.
I have to pat myself on the back there a little bit, Bill. But there's a need. There was a need for the training. Initially, I wanted to train the members in my network. Just like, let's bring everybody in state up to speed because we're all gonna use this. I think these are the veteran notaries that are gonna want this information. So I started taking good notes, and then I registered that domain. And I thought, I could put this together, and it would be really neat, and I need to do that. And then it's like, okay, well, how are you going to do that? I know my way around WordPress, so um, I chose a really neat theme. That's important to me. I'm not I don't like the other easy canned website space. I like WordPress where you can have a little bit of creativity and have some control over what's on your screen, what people see, what they're using. It's not generic looking. And um, so I found a LearnDash plugin, and I looked at Udemy and some of the other Teachable and some of the other uh, platforms, but I don't know if it was me being greedy or what. I didn't want to have to anybody getting a slice of the pie. I didn't see the need for that. Yeah, maybe they have the audience or whatever, but I thought I've got enough, connections. We can market this once we get it built. So started with the domain, put my WordPress website together, put my plugins all in there. Went a little overboard on the plugins. Probably there's a lot of features on there that maybe some people use, maybe they don't. You can take notes, and there's instant message on there and a lot of things that maybe it's overboard, but they're neat features.
Yeah.
And so I saw the need for remote online notarization training. Even if a state offered it wasn't adequate. You know, even if you pass that training, you might not know what to do as far as security measures are concerned, as far as marketing your services are concerned. So I just kind of put it into four phases. The introduction, if you don't know anything about Ron, here's where you start. This is where it came from, even to the point where we could take somebody off the street who's not a notary and try to help them get signed up as a notary. Step one, and then phase two is what equipment, what do you need, what setup do you need, for your home office, and what's it going to take on that end. Phase three is the platforms. There's so many platforms, as you well know. Some states tell you what platforms you can use. Some states you have to find that out on your own.
Right.
So I tried to cover as many of those popular platforms that are available in all the different states. And then, like I said, in the final phase, the security measures and marketing your services, and some of the advanced topics on encrypting hard drives, portable hard drive, and password security and that type of thing. I think it came to, it's not perfect. There are typos in there, Bill. There's some there may be some misspelled words or things like that, but I felt like it was important to get the bulk of it up there, and then I took a deep breath. I was like, oh, okay, okay. The hay's in the barn for the most part. Now I can finesse it and add to it and correct and edit and go from there. And that's what I've been trying to do,
Yeah.
um, kind of last 3 or 4 months with it. So
Well, I'll tell you, it's a challenge, and you got to overcome the
oh,
perfectionism
yes,
stuff.
sir.
And I struggled with that too. But the reality is, if I would have let that stop me, and if that would have stopped you, it never would get done because perfect doesn't exist.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you've just got to deliver the goods, have good content, which I've been through your course at Ron University, and it is packed full of great content. And I love how you bring in other experts, like the platform experts, into the conversation. So you're learning from the people who actually designed it or
Yes,
market
sir.
it. So there's a tons of value there. And you know how big I am on Kaizen, that constant continuous improvement. Now we get to start
Exactly.
the refining process and go through, and it's a constant progress. There's no set it and forget it in this business. And I think I want to talk about that because I know for the people listening, I'm willing to bet that they have thought about building an online course, or they've got an idea to do things better or different, or maybe in a totally different realm as well. What are some of the, like, what's the biggest challenge you faced? And then maybe what's the biggest payoff for you from an emotional point
The
standpoint?
biggest challenge was getting over like the imposter syndrome or thinking you don't know enough to start a course. I'm not the world's biggest Ron expert. On Clubhouse. They'd call me the king of Ron, and I'm like, easy now, come on, y'all. It's like, I don't want to wear that crown, but and then I thought in the back of my mind, oh, that's a great marketing line. Thank you. Let me, go ahead, have at it. But it's something where you've got to get over thinking that you don't know enough. You may not know it all. That's not the point, but you know enough to help others, and that's what I enjoy doing. Is spreading the word, getting people help, um, and that gives me a lot of pleasure later in life. I just enjoy the mentorship side of it, spreading that information. I wasn't, like you said, I wasn't an expert on all these topics. My security guys, Will Ussery, coming from, and he's not even a remote online notary. He just knows computer security like the back of his hand. So, and then Christine Pardo, Catherine Cabrera, they're making Ron work on a full time basis. They're having a lot of success. It hasn't hit Kentucky yet. I'm laying the foundation for the future. I know what's coming. Um, but to see one of my students, Jim Allen, the other day messaged me that he's set up with Amrock Ron in Idaho. One of the first people to do that, and I think Jim would tell you that he might not have known about getting set up with them if we hadn't have hooked up. I
Yeah.
think he would tell you that Ron U was a good place for him to get started and find the information. And not only, you know, it's not only what you learn there, but it's connecting with and then I'm trying to do a little better job of building a community and getting like a forum. I refuse to do a Facebook group. I'm not going to do another Facebook group. I want to keep it private. I want to keep it in house because there there are some prying eyes on Facebook. You don't own that platform. You don't own that information. So if we
Yeah.
can keep this on site, a little confidential, private colleague discussion there, I think that would be beneficial, and that's what we'll be working on, kind of going forward. Just adding content, more information, more platforms. Just what's going on. Where are the
Growing.
job opportunities? Where
Yeah.
where are people finding full time work, part time? What's wherever I can find that type of information, I try to share it inside the course.
Yeah, I love that you focus so much on bringing value, and it sounds like that's the emotional payoff for you is helping other people. So somehow it sounds like in your grander vision for your life, you found a way for this business to be a vehicle to get you there. Would that be accurate?
Yes, sir. It's been really interesting, and I think I've got a not necessarily an exit strategy for Ron University, but I think there's something bigger on the horizon than just this little online course. I think we may be able to tie something in if we get it on a federal level. If Ron gets approved on a federal level, then maybe I don't know. I just think the information's needed. It's neat to have it all under one hood. You can go to all these different platforms and they'll train you, but they're going to train you on their platform as to how they're going to want it done and how it's done. Maybe that platform's good for you and it feels comfortable to you. But if you see another one over here, you'll see that it's a lot cleaner, a lot easier to deal with, maybe not as many emails going out or something along those lines. And that's for a little bit of money. If you'll invest in your knowledge there, do a little bit of homework at Ron U, then you can go out and save yourself a lot of money when you start signing up for these platforms, which can be pretty expensive if once you get started.
Oh yeah, totally. There's expense, but there's I think even bigger than that is the peace of mind that comes with just understanding a little bit and understanding the process and being able to make a choice that isn't so convoluted. I thought that was really powerful from that. And if
Yes,
you're
sir.
interested in Ron University, you can visit ronuniversity.com/notary coach. John's hooked you up with a great promotional offer on there. And of course, that'll be in the show notes down
Yes,
below,
sir.
as well as in the follow up email. But real quick, before we go, because I know this is a huge question, you brought up an excellent point in getting over the who do you think you are concept and the idea. And I think I had to do it as well. And it's funny, I was just talking to a fellow colleague and collaborator about what helped me get through it. And it was Teddy Roosevelt's Man in the Arena speech. And I used to recite that to myself out loud in the shower every morning because I was number one, I failed in business 26 times. Here I am. I finally found oh, yeah, yeah, there you go. That's one of my cards. And
I saved that, Bill.
I've got
That's my
that.
favorite quote as well.
Oh, good. I included it in my book. It changed my life. It helped get my mindset because, I had failed in business and I finally found my mark. And here I was going to teach others how to do this. And who do you think you are is that inner critic voice that kept coming in my mind over
Yes,
and
sir.
over. And I had to overcome that to make it happen. And the other thing is to be an expert. I think we have this misconception of what an expert is. I think if
Mhm.
people knew who experts were behind the YouTube video,
Right.
you wouldn't be as terrified as you are right now because you only have to be one page ahead in the book. To
They've
be,
read the next chapter. That's it.
that's it. And then you can reach your hand back and help others. And I think with the
Right.
right heart and the right intent, there's nothing wrong with that. So step into your own power, your own magnificence, and share your gifts with the world is a great message. And I love, John, what you have done so far, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do next. Anything on the horizon for you?
Uh, just more of the same, building up. Like I said, Kentucky Notary Network. I think there's another level for it to reach. The theory and concept needs to be put into action a little bit more now that the virus is hopefully calming down and we can get back to a little bit more normalcy. Uh, and then, but just want to thank you, Bill, because Kentucky's one thing, but Ron opens up the world to us, and you made me see that light. And so that's getting the word out on that we're your closest notary, no matter where you are, that we can notarize for U.S. citizens abroad and that type of thing. It just really opens up a neat market. I've notarized for people from Dubai to China to England and Dominican Republic. Like, you just go on, and it's just fascinating that this little guy in Vanceburg, Kentucky, it's like uh, 72 degrees yesterday, 47 degrees and snowing today in Kentucky. So good old April weather. But that I can sit here in my home office and notarize documents across the world. That's fascinating to me. So that's what's next is more of that. And then, doing some consulting things and, working with people on some projects that they have and want to explore. I've got some things there that I'm really excited about. And then some other things going on that if you'll just check out my profile and bio, we're always on Clubhouse and Instagram and uh, just check me out on there and you'll
Yeah.
see what's happening. I'm looking forward to it. A
Awesome.
lot of
Thanks,
irons in the
John.
fire, like you
Yeah.
say.
Yep. I love it. I love that we get so many ideas whenever we talk. You got my wheels turning like crazy already just from this conversation. And if you're listening and you want to connect with John, visit ronuniversity.com/notary coach. You can get dialed into Ron University there. Contact information, all that good stuff will be there. And he's all over social media as KentuckyNotary.net as well. And John, I just want to say thank you for being a shining example of integrity in our business. And then also, just an example of what you can do in this business. I've been saying for years, this industry is ripe for innovation. It's ready for new, fresh ideas. And you have taken the initiative, taken massive action to demonstrate that. So thank you. I'm excited to be a part of it with you.
I did that because I took your course and read your books. So that's been very helpful, Bill. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for that, guys. Thanks for listening. And John, thanks for being here.
All right, no problem. Thank you, Bill.